In the early days of the Roman Republic, warfare was conducted using a tactical system inherited from the Greeks, the phalanx. This formation, with rows of heavily armed soldiers known as hoplites standing shoulder to shoulder, was initially adopted because of its proven effectiveness in tightly packed, open terrain battles. It provided a solid, nearly impenetrable wall of shields and spears, ideal for repelling frontal assaults. The phalanx functioned well in battles where terrain was predictable and flat, such as the plains of central Italy. Its strength lay in its unity and discipline. Individual soldiers relied on one another to maintain the cohesion of the formation. Roman leaders favored the phalanx because it emphasized collective effort, reflecting the Republic's values of shared responsibility. At this stage, Roman warfare was as much about defending the city-state as it was about asserting dominance over nearby tribes. The early adoption of the phalanx symbolized Rome's aspiration to emulate and surpass the established powers of the Mediterranean. The phalanx system was formidable on level ground. Its wall of spears could devastate an approaching enemy, while its tight formation made it difficult for adversaries to break through. However, the system had significant weaknesses. It was slow-moving and rigid, making it vulnerable in rough or hilly terrain where maintaining formation was difficult. Additionally, the phalanx struggled against more mobile and flexible enemies, such as the Samnites, who used guerrilla-style tactics in the mountains. These limitations became apparent as Rome expanded beyond its immediate surroundings. The phalanx, while effective in controlled conditions, was ill-suited for the varied landscapes and diverse enemies Rome began to encounter. As the Romans faced new challenges, their leaders realized that adaptability was key. The phalanx's rigidity clashed with the unpredictable nature of warfare beyond the Italian plains. One of the most famous early battles where the limitations of the phalanx became evident was the First Samnite War, 343 to 341 BCE. The rugged terrain of Samnium posed significant challenges to the phalanx, and the Samnites' hit-and-run tactics outmaneuvered the slower Roman forces. Despite initial setbacks, Rome eventually adapted by learning from their enemies and incorporating new strategies. Later, during the Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BCE, the Roman army faced Hannibal's Carthaginian forces, whose use of varied tactics further exposed the flaws in rigid formations. The Battle of Lake Trasimene in 217 BC was a devastating defeat for Rome, with Hannibal ambushing the Roman forces in a narrow pass, a scenario where the phalanx was ineffective. These battles underscored the need for a more flexible military system. Rome's leaders began to see that victory required more than bravery. It demanded innovation. In response to these challenges, Rome gradually transitioned from the phalanx to the manipular system. This new tactical formation divided the army into smaller units called maniples, each consisting of 120 men. Unlike the rigid phalanx, maniples could operate independently, allowing for greater flexibility and maneuverability on uneven terrain. The manipular system was a game-changer. It allowed Roman forces to adapt to different combat scenarios, whether fighting on the flat plains of Gaul or the dense forests of Germania. The system also introduced a tiered structure based on experience. The hastati, young recruits, principes, seasoned soldiers, and triarii, veterans, formed successive lines, ensuring that fresh troops could be brought into the fight as needed. One of the most notable early uses of the manipular system was during the Battle of Sentinum in 295 BCE, where the Romans decisively defeated a coalition of Samnites, Gauls, and Etruscans. The flexibility of the manipular system allowed the Romans to counter the diverse tactics employed by their enemies, securing a critical victory. This shift marked a turning point in Roman military history. The manipular system not only addressed the weaknesses of the phalanx, but also set the foundation for Rome's dominance over the Mediterranean world. As Rome's empire expanded, so did the complexity of its military challenges. By the late Republic, the manipular system evolved into the cohort system, introduced by Gaius Marius during his military reforms in 107 BCE. Each legion was now composed of 10 cohorts, each containing around 480 soldiers. This reorganization streamlined command and control, making the Roman army even more cohesive and efficient. Marius also introduced a professional standing army, recruiting landless citizens and offering them pay, equipment, and the promise of land upon retirement. This professionalization ensured a constant supply of well-trained soldiers, ready for extended campaigns far from home. A key battle demonstrating the effectiveness of the cohort system was the Siege of Alesia in 52 BCE, where Julius Caesar's forces besieged the Gallic stronghold under Vercingetorix. The disciplined Roman legions constructed massive fortifications, encircling the enemy and withstanding repeated attacks until the Gauls were forced to surrender. The cohort system solidified Rome's status as a military superpower. It was a testament to the empire's ability to adapt and innovate in response to changing circumstances. The military evolution of the Roman Empire is a story of constant adaptation. From the rigid phalanx to the flexible manipular system, and finally to the professional cohort-based legions, each transformation was driven by necessity, a response to new enemies, new terrains, and new challenges. It's astounding that an empire, which began as a small city-state on the Italian peninsula, could rise to dominate the ancient world through sheer pragmatism and strategic foresight. The Roman approach to warfare, characterized by learning from both victory and defeat, ensured that they remained one step ahead of their adversaries. In the end, Rome's military success was not just about superior tactics or technology. It was about a mindset, a relentless pursuit of improvement, and an unyielding belief in their destiny to rule. These were elite warriors in every sense, not because they never fell, but because they always rose stronger.